All right, it's a new year, but it's the same segment. Ask Glazer with an NFL on Fox Insider, Jay Glazer.
New Year's resolutions you're going to break really quickly?
I mean, I tell myself every year I'm going to read more, but when you have to watch 18 hours of football every week as a job, it
audiobooks.
gets tough. That's true. Maybe
Right?
in the car.
So it's not really reading; it's listening more.
It's
but you're learning more.
It's stimulating, though.
See,
You're
I
right.
care about your intellectual growth.
That's a good workaround. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Anything for you?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
No?
I know I'm going to break them in 2 seconds. So.
Well, let's keep it. Let's start this off with the latest in just what's been a fantastic year for you and the gang downstairs. Y'all were at AT&T Stadium this weekend. I mean, the question is, what was it like seeing Jimmy get into the Ring of Honor? But just in general, one of the cooler sequences I've seen this entire season. How'd it go?
Listen, we were just doing our show here too. I was standing next to Jimmy, and the moment we started playing the highlights from last night, Jimmy started crying. Like, people see this old gruff Jimmy Johnson, but he is also he definitely shows this soft little underbelly to us a lot more than people realize. And that's just great. When you see, it's great when things happen for you in life, but it is so special and amazing when things happen for your loved ones. And to see it up close with Jimmy was great. Just the whole scene last night, everybody was so happy. All these former players, and there was coaches of the Cowboys running up to us and coaches from the Lions running up to us. It was pretty surreal. I literally at one point, I sat there, I'm up in the booth sitting next to like Strahan here and Kurt and Bill Richards and everybody. And I literally look up to God, like, thank you, God Almighty, my best friend. Like, what a life I have. You got to be kidding me. I'm still waiting to wake up in 5th grade. None of this happens. But we have the greatest, not just football family, but the greatest TV family, sports family, whatever you want to call it, anybody could ever ask for. Like, we rely on each other. We hang out a lot. The off seasons, we're best man at each other's weddings and godfathers of each other's kids. So, there's the love that we have for each other will never be duplicated in TV ever again.
It's amazing. And it was really cool to see, like, obviously, what a cool opportunity for Jimmy to, Troy was there and Emmett and Michael and all these Cowboys legends. But then I guess if there's a benefit of how long he had to wait to get into the Ring of Honor, he got to build these bonds with all of y'all. And so he had like a second family there to do this with.
Well, that was the thing that was pretty interesting, is all these people saying, we thought it was so great that you were there with Jimmy. And we were just like, of course we'll be there with Jimmy. That's not a question. It's a special day for him. Absolutely, we'll be there for Jimmy.
I said it last night. It tells you everything that you need to know, that the whole thing was televised during halftime. What a cool moment. All right, moving into 2024. Speaking of which, there was a flip side to that game. Obviously, a wild finish for the Detroit Lions. And on Fox on Sunday, you said Dan Campbell probably gets home from that game at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and he's awakened by contractors outside of his house. What was that all about?
Like, somebody, I guess, played a joke on him or something and gave his address out, and all of a sudden, like, these contractors showed up. He told me the website it was for. I'm not going to plug it. That basically has contractors show up to, like, hey, if you need this fixed or that fixed or that fixed and that. And I think he said it was like 10 of them or something like that. So, like, just leave the guy alone. Give the guy a break. Like, man, he's turned this city around, obviously, and their football future around. But I was like, you got to be kidding me. I said, Dan, can I use this on TV? He was kind of like, man, I'm so delirious right now. Whatever, I'm good. I said, okay. But, look, for, the other interesting part of that conversation is him saying he knows now that he has to make sure his players don't dwell on that call that happened. Because it's real easy. Because no matter what, it's not going to be redone. It's not going to be replayed. You're not going to have a do-over. So you've got to then, as angry as you might be, shift focus to get your players to somehow just put it in the past without being angry about it and move forward. And that's it's one of the harder jobs of a coach.
I'd say it seems like a silver lining that the Lions have already locked up the division, so at least you don't have to worry about that in addition to being frustrated. But definitely a crazy 18 or so hours for Dan Campbell. Let the guy get some sleep. All right, we got a question about Baker Mayfield. Obviously, it's incredible what he's doing in Tampa Bay. Yeah. I think it's easy to ask questions about, like, will the Buccaneers re-sign Baker? It seems like they want to, but I'm curious, how appealing might Baker Mayfield be to the rest of the league now that he is pulling this off?
I think just when I talk to people in Tampa, they love him. They're all in on Baker. And I'm wondering, like, where Baker kind of switched. And I'm wondering, man, it was just that short time he had with Sean McVay. right? Sean McVay makes sure you're coachable, and he, you can't just kind of do things your own way. You have to do it Sean's way. And I did it change him there? But they're saying just his Eddie is so much of one of the dudes and having so much fun. I've known Baker since his first day in the league. Actually trained him in mixed martial arts at the Browns facility, first day of his career. Liked him day one, but he just has this dude quotient that, as a quarterback, you want to make sure you have that dude quotient, and then obviously you got to make sure you play. But he put up a lot of points for in one particular game for the Rams for Sean McVay. But I don't think, and they still made him go in and compete for the job, let's say. But yeah, this is a different Baker Mayfield. But he's having a blast. They love him in Tampa.
I can't wait to see where that goes for him. It's well deserved. All right, question about college coaches. It seems like there are quite a few of them that are being linked into the NFL world. Do you think this
really Jim Harbaugh
is that? I mean, that is the big one. I mean, do you think we might see a news cycle there where whether it's Jim Harbaugh, maybe
college coaches just don't work on this level.
Not recently.
When you go and if they do, it's somebody who had, like, Pete Carroll had already been pro coach, but like they just don't work when you come to this level. The Matt Rule's the world. It's just Nick Saban even, right? Just doesn't work on this level. Obviously, Jim Harbaugh is different because he has he played in the NFL, has NFL roots. The only other guy I'd give a look at is Jed Fish, who has a lot of NFL ties.
Arizona.
But he's coached with, oh my God, Bill Belichick, Sean McVay, Pete Carroll, and the list goes on. And Nick Saban, like, the list goes on and on and on, who he's learned from. But I've gone down there. The culture that he has changed to go University of Arizona. And it's so hard for them to hold on to players, but he's done with that. Not just offense, but that culture. If I'm a team, I look at a Jed Fish, just see if because he's been in the NFL for most of his career, except these last two for Arizona. But I would give him a look.
Yeah, Arizona having just finished a heck of a season down there for sure. All right, reports surfacing over the weekend that Matt Eberflus potentially has done enough to save his job in Chicago. Have you any update on that, or do you think Matt Eberflus has done enough to be safe this year?
Well, I think they're leaning that way.
Yeah.
But I don't think an absolute decision has been made yet, but I do think they're leaning that way. But until, season plays out, and I hear a definite, I'm not able to say that.
Sure. Last one for you. And that's what a weird week in Denver with Russell Wilson. I mean, there's a million ways you could go with it, but I'm curious if Russell Wilson is right that he's done in Denver. And I totally
he's done in Denver.
I understand. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, where do you think this goes for him? What do you think 2024 looks like for Russell Wilson?
Somebody will first of all, the Broncos are on the hook for the money.
Right.
So you get him like league minimum. Absolutely, someone will bring him in. A lot of teams look to bring him in.
To no question starter, do you think? Or
look, you look at teams who are like, the Colts brought in Matt Ryan, right, 2 years ago. And how many teams have gone after Carson Wentz? And there's not a lot of starters in this league. So I think that a team will look for him for a starter and hope that, because here's the thing. Him and Sean Payton, when he went out and got Jarrett Stidham early on in free agency for a lot, pay a backup quarterback, that show you right there, I'm not sure about the quarterback who's there. I want to make sure that I have what I think is the best backup in the NFL in case it doesn't work out. And I think this is more of Sean style, Russell style, just don't mix. Sean wants to make sure you drop back like Drew Brees. You got read, first read, second read, third read, fourth read, boom. You know where you're going. Russell is a play extender, right? Extends the plays, doesn't do things the way Sean does, and they just didn't jibe. Now, somebody else may say his style will jibe with what I do. But if you're going to have Sean Payton's style of offense, it's just not going to jibe.
It's going to be an interesting wrinkle for 2024, which is here. Jay.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, my man. Thank you, as always, for stopping by. We'll catch you soon.
Appreciate it, man. I'm supposed to get engaged in 2024. I say supposed to because we all know this is time for me to screw it up.
Appreciate you stopping by, man. Thank you.
No, I'm supposed to get married. Did I say I'm getting engaged?
You said engaged. Yeah, married.
No. Let's just... See, I already screwed it up. You can include this. I'm supposed to get married. I'm already engaged. See, I screwed that up already.
Phenomenal.
Now she's probably going to leave, so I don't get married. So I already screwed that up for 2024.
Phenomenal start to the new year. Thank you, Jay.